Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that. And also, if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2023 related video here on my channel, and today I'm going to be going through all of the semi-finalists involved in this year's upcoming edition of the ESC, which, as we all know, will take place in less than 2 months' time in Liverpool in the UK on behalf of current champions Ukraine. And I'm going to be telling you my early predictions for the semi-final results. And let's not forget, this year it is a 100% public vote in the two semi-finals, which will take place on Tuesday the 9th and Thursday the 11th of May 2023. Semi-final 1 has 15 nations involved, 10 will qualify. France, Germany and Italy are the automatic qualifiers voting in that show, alongside all of the participating nations, of course. And in semi-final 2, 16 nations are taking part, with Spain, Ukraine and the UK voting as well. Plus, in both semi-finals and indeed the Saturday grand final, for the very first time, there is an aggregated rest of the world vote. And it'll be interesting to see if that really plays much of a part between a country qualifying and not qualifying. As always, let me know your thoughts on anything I am discussing in today's video. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, it's all good stuff. Recently, we passed 800 subscribers on this channel, which is a fairly small number. I don't really pay attention to numbers and statistics and things like that, but it's nice to see that number going up all the time. I am very, very appreciative. And as such, I will be doing a Q&A video, mainly for the benefit of new subscribers who maybe want to know a little bit more about me and my interests outside of Eurovision perhaps, or indeed just ask me questions about the contest. So I will be filming that Q&A video very soon. You're very welcome to leave questions in the comments section of this video, but I probably will film a separate announcement video in the next day or two as well, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. Links in the description to my other social media pages as always, check them out if you so wish. Did I just say that? Can't quite remember. Anyway, this year's Eurovision Song Contest, well, let's put it this way. I'm hoping that it is not super predictable, unlike the Manchester City football game that is on my TV right now. What an absolute crock of shite. What a load of shite. Anyway, yes, my point being here, some people are thinking that this year's Eurovision could be very, very one-sided in favour of Sweden. They're the clear favourites to win. Loreen could be the first woman to win twice, and it would be a record-equalling 7th win for the Swedes as well, and 3rd win in the space of, you know, about a decade or something. Very, very impressive. And it could happen. It really could happen. It could be a very one-sided win indeed. But it could also be exceptionally close. Who knows? I think in 2012, Sweden didn't really have many challengers at all. Sweden's biggest rival was Russia, with the Russian grannies, of course. But this year, you know, Finland's there. They'll get a lot of love from the public. Austria, Serbia, Armenia is seen as a bit of a favourite at the moment. So maybe it won't be a runaway. But who knows? Would any of us really be surprised if it was a very, very comfortable 100-point margin victory? I don't know. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I must apologise. Let's go through the semi-finalists. I haven't actually made much of a prediction yet, but I've got my trusty whiteboard here. And let's see what we come up with here, shall we? Semi-final 1, which is the tougher of the two. It is inevitable that some good songs are going to miss out here, which is a real shame. And it's also concerning because there's 1 or 2 songs here that I think would be going through if the juries were present, but they're not going to be present for the semi-finals. So I'm looking at a country like the Netherlands, for example, and I'm thinking they're in big trouble. But anyway, let's go through them as they're listed here. Should say there'll be a video from me soon predicting the running orders, and also a video discussing my top 37 of the year as it stands, which I actually need to put together. So, Croatia. Well, obviously this is very visually arresting. It is a song with a message, but that message might be lost on a lot of people. It's very striking, it's very chaotic. It's not one of my favourites whatsoever. Do I think this is going through? Probably. It's just the sort of thing that I can see people voting for in quite big numbers. I wouldn't be shocked. None of us should be shocked if this song A makes the final and B does quite well in the final. Because I think back to Croatia in 2017 in Kyiv, Jacques Hudek with My Friend. That was seen as a bit of a borderline qualifier by quite a few people, if I recall at the time. But he didn't only qualify. I think he was top 10 with the public in the final. So, okay, you can't really compare that song to Mama Shoo. But I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happens again this year. I don't hate this track, but I really don't love it. And I think if it makes the final, obviously you're going to have a lot of countries next to Croatia probably going big for this. But also other countries might dish out a point or two as well, because they'll find it quite comical, light relief amongst all of the other serious tracks. It's an interesting one. I'm going to put Croatia down in the maybe category because I'm really on the fence with them. I'm really on the fence. Then we have Ireland. They're not qualifying. In fact, they are probably finishing last here, which would be another devastating blow for the Irish with regards to Eurovision, because they were last in 2019 and they were last in 2021. So to finish last again in a semi-final would be, well, how much more of a wake-up call do you really need? Especially if Sweden win this year, tie Ireland's record of 7 victories. It's a huge slap in the face, and it must be the massive wake-up call that Ireland needs. Anyway, Wild Youth with We Are One. This is actually growing on me quite significantly. It's definitely not one of my least favourites. What I don't like about it is how generic it is. Honestly, I feel like I've heard this a million times before. The music video, not that that matters, I thought was really disappointing as well. I just don't know how they're going to stage this in a truly memorable manner. I can just see it being very similar to how it was in the sort of national final setup. I can't see it being terribly different at all. Ireland is a non-qualifier for me, I'm afraid. Latvia. I'm trying to be as realist as possible here. And I'm very much a realist. So, Latvia for me, not going through. But a lot of people really do like this song. It's a slow burner, it's got a slight indie twinge to it. It feels very cool and not dated, which is good. And there's a lyric or two in Latvian, which is really nice. But it's in the first half, and it could be on really, really early. I'm not sure, excuse me, I don't know if that will really make much of a difference at all, but who's going to vote for this in big numbers? Really big numbers. Is any country going to dish out a 12? I doubt it. Is any country going to dish out a 10? Yes, Ireland, almost certainly. Is any country going to dish out an 8 here, an 8 there? It's probably going to be 2 points here, 1 point there. That's not enough. Even if every country voted for Latvia, points like that won't get you too far. So I've got to say, Latvia is looking like an NQ for me. As for Malta, I'm also going to say an NQ. Simply because, even though this is a very credible track, and I was thinking about this earlier, this is probably the best choice Malta could have made, ahead of Brooke, ahead of everybody else in that lengthy, quite crappy national final setup that Malta had. This was probably the best choice after Aiden got booted out. It's fun, it's funky, it's fresh, but Malta always struggle with the public. It happened with Jamakas a few years ago, and that was a contender to win, and it got something like 45 points or something. Rubbish. So with that mentality, I'm thinking that Malta are probably dead and buried here. But at least they're giving it a right go. This isn't a song that is clearly very likely to finish nowhere. This is in with a decent shot. But will this get more love than some of the other so-called borderline qualifiers? I doubt it. Norway, that's going through. Queen of Kings, Alessandra, she's great, vocals great. I'm interested to see how they're going to stage this in Liverpool, how they're going to elevate that MGP staging. It needs to be brightened up a bit, I think. But overall, this is very, very good. Because the song was released so long ago, I think people are sleeping on it a bit now. It's almost as though it's being brushed to one side. But this is a really good song. It's one of my favourites of the year. It's going through. Possibly we could have an all-Scandinavian top 3 in this semi-final. Let me know your thoughts on that. Portugal. Portugal's going in the maybe category. I'm leaning towards yes. It's so fun. Catchy, colourful, vibrant. Whips you up into a frenzy. The crowd will absolutely love this. Could well open the semi-final. That would be interesting. and who knows, maybe a bit damaging at the same time. Mimi Cat is great. This song, solid stuff. Really different from last year's Portuguese entry, but staying true to themselves. It's in the Portuguese language. Great, great stuff. I'd be very happy if this went through, but because it's such a stacked semi-final, it's going to be tough. Then we have Serbia. This is going through for me. There's only 15 nations, and I've said it before, it's harder to not qualify when you only have that many songs. Serbia's going through. However, in the final, I know I'm thinking ahead here, but in the final, I'm not sure the juries will be totally on board with this. Even though the two songs are quite different. Under the Ladder, Melovin, Ukraine 2018. That was on first, okay, fair enough, but the juries had him last. And that was a very intriguing stage show. If you remember, he was in the sort of makeshift coffin at the start, and then the piano was on fire, and he was really going for it, gesticulating everywhere. This is also a very... what's the word I'm looking for here? It's a very sort of interesting performance. Very breathy in terms of the vocals, very dark. Sounds like you're in some sort of video game from the 80s at certain points. The public will like this very much. In the final, the juries could kill any chance he has of getting a really great result. But Serbia going through here, and I would say with relative ease. Then we have, in the second half of semi-final one, Azerbaijan. It's out. Tural Turan X or Tural Turan 10 with Tell Me More. This is lovely, very cutesy, nice harmonies, very sweet, very different from everything else this year. But it's the same thing. Who's going to vote for this in big enough numbers? Not many. I don't see any country in this first semi-final lineup going to give Azerbaijan anything above maybe 7 or 6 points. I don't see it happening, got to be honest. Out, and I think it would be only the second time Azerbaijan miss out on the final. It's a tough lineup. If you're not delivering, it's goodbye. Czech Republic going through. Similar to Norway, the song was released so long ago, it's almost as though it's been brushed aside a tiny bit. But I think this could do really, really well in the final. It's a very striking song, very powerful, very traditional in terms of its sound, performed in multiple languages. The national final performance did this no justice whatsoever. That was pretty crap, to be honest. Not the performance, but the whole national final and the performances in general deserved a much bigger stage, audience, the whole full works. On a big stage such as what we're going to get in Liverpool, this could really come alive. And vocally, I'm not too concerned. Visually, I'm not terribly concerned with what they're going to come up with. It's going through, and I think the juries and public will like it in equal measure. As for Finland, going through. Cha 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 is sublime, so arresting. Can't take your eyes off it. The national final performance, I didn't love, but it was still solid stuff. Vocals are good. Energy is there. Crowd absolutely going mad for it. Obviously going through. It's not often we can say this about Finland, but they are, in my opinion, definite qualifiers this year. Israel. I've seen a few videos, and some people think this is a borderline qualifier. I'm intrigued to know why, because I think this is going through fairly comfortably. Noah Kirell's a huge star. Not that that matters much when it comes to Eurovision, but this is solid pop. She's going to sing it well. She's a great performer, so young, but she knows what she's doing. All of those awards, you know, that's clearly a sign that she is a pro performer. I'm not a fan of how the song is stitched together. There's a dance break at the end that's just chucked on for no apparent reason. There's only a few lyrics in Hebrew, which is a bit of a shame. Lyrically as a whole, not too sure about some of them, but who cares about lyrics at Eurovision? Not many. This is going through as far as I'm concerned. Quite comfortably, in a lineup of 15. As for Moldova, yes. I was thinking about this song earlier, Soarele și Luna. This is probably gunning for the top 10 in the final, you know. I can see it happening. Moldova is a country continuing to push above its weight when it comes to Eurovision. Second in the public vote in the final last year. Outrageous. Who saw that coming months in advance of the competition in Turin? Nobody, I'm sure. Excuse me. But this song, it's good. It's got a great momentum to it. Not a huge fan of how it was staged at the national final. Deserved a bigger stage. We're going to get that. Pasha's a great performer, great vocals. This could be really, really good live. Really good at Eurovision. And Moldova, you know, it's not often they don't qualify, which is impressive. Going through. Next we have the Netherlands. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mia Nicolai and Dion Cooper. Dion Cooper with Burning Daylight. I love this, it's one of my favourites of the year. Great ballad, great lyrics. They hit home, not just for me, but for a lot of people, I'm sure. Builds up nicely to a sort of anthemic finale. The only issue here, it could be Sweden, Netherlands, Finland in the running order. Sandwiched between those two entries. Oh my god, that's damaging. That is some damage right there. This song should be going through because it's really top notch. But some people might be bored by it. It might not stand out enough. It might not be staged terribly well. Who knows? The vocals could be a pile of crap as well. I doubt it, but you never know. Yeah, Netherlands is in trouble. And the realist part of me is thinking that the Netherlands are probably going to miss out this year. Which would be very undeserved, but there we are. Let's move on to Sweden. Loreen only has to open her eyes in the morning and she's through. Obviously, I don't like using that word because sometimes Eurovision people can exaggerate, but in this instance, obviously, Sweden are going through and very likely to win this semi-final. It's a cut above everything else. It really is. Melfest, cut above. Wiping the floor, whatever other terms you want to use. It's on another level in terms of its execution. The song itself, not my favourite of the year. It's up there, but it's not my favourite of the year. My friend Pete, who I co-run the Instagram page with, link in the description, he thinks this is better than Euphoria. Let me know if you think Tattoo is better than Euphoria, because I'm not sure it is. But anyway, Sweden going through. Switzerland, oh boy. I'm leaning towards yes, but I'm on the maybe pile with Watergun at the moment. It's growing on me. I do like this song. Interesting themes in the track as well. The overall theme of the song, I quite like that, what it's trying to convey. His voice is pretty good. I don't know though. Is this one that's just going to be brushed aside? When you look at the entire lineup, is this one that really stands out to a lot of people? Is it really going to stand out to a lot of people in May? I don't know. It's better than their entry last year, in my opinion. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 likely qualifiers from semi-final 1. Norway, Serbia, Czechia, Finland, Israel, Moldova, and Sweden. As of right now, those countries are going through, in my opinion, and maybe your opinion too. Out, Ireland, Latvia, Malta, and Azerbaijan. I'm not sure about Latvia. There's a place for a song like that in the final. But even if Southern Lights were in semi-final 2, honestly, I'm not sure they'd get through that either. And then on the fence, Croatia, purely because will people vote for it because of how striking and I suppose comical it's going to come across. Portugal, I'm leaning towards yes. Netherlands, I'm leaning towards no. And Switzerland, I'm leaning towards yes. So how many have we got here again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put Portugal down. 8. Let's put Switzerland down. 9. And I mean, that second half of semi-final 1, apart from Azerbaijan, every other song in the second half could go through, which would be quite impressive and perhaps unprecedented. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could have 7 songs in a row qualifying, all in the second half. I'm not sure that's going to happen, which makes me worried about Switzerland, which makes me worried about the Netherlands. It could be a toss-up between Watergun and Burning Daylight. Which one do you prefer? For me, it's the Dutch song. But it really could come down to just a few points. Maybe the rest of the world votes. Who will the rest of the world vote for? Possibly Sweden as well. I am going to put the Netherlands down. I don't really have a lot of faith in voters at all, but maybe they'll put the Dutch entry through instead of Croatia. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Norway, Serbia, Czechia, Finland, Israel, Moldova, Sweden, Portugal, Switzerland and the Netherlands are going through from semi-final 1, and out Croatia, Ireland, Latvia, Malta and Azerbaijan. I'm going to say that Sweden will win this semi-final, with Finland 2nd and Norway 3rd, and let's say Serbia 4th, Israel 5th, Czechia 6th, Moldova 7th, Portugal 8th, Netherlands 9th, Switzerland 10th, and then 11th, let's say Croatia, 12th Latvia, 13th Malta, 14th Ireland, 15th Azerbaijan. Why not? Let's move on to semi-final 2. And semi-final 2 is the stinkier semi-final. Honestly, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about the running orders prediction video I'm going to be doing very soon, and that's going to be very, very tough for this semi-final because, oh man, not many songs are really doing the business for me here. In the first half, Armenia, Future Lover by Brunette. Some people are saying this is winning material. I don't see it. I don't hear it. It's going to do well though, very, very likely to qualify. I do need to listen to the song again myself. Don't worry, I will. I'll almost certainly like it more than I did the first time I heard it, so, you know, don't get worked up about my opinions previously. But this song, yeah. I don't know. I found it a bit disappointing. I wanted more from it. Yes, I understand that it's quite slow-paced, but I don't know, I wanted it to be more gripping, and it wasn't for me personally. But Armenia's going through. Yes. Lovely stuff. Then we have Belgium. Because of You, do, by Gustav. Wow, it's been an absolute eternity since we first heard this song. I don't know about Belgium. I really don't. It's quite camp and very it reminds me of a band from the UK called M People, funnily enough. He's a good singer, he really is, but it was not the best choice for Belgium whatsoever. Belgium's in the maybe pile. Cyprus going through. Greece will vote for him anyway, but so will several other countries, including Australia. Let's not forget, he is part Australian and tried to represent them last year. It's a pretty good song, very safe. It's a very safe track. It's not taking any risks, this one, Break a Broken Heart. Yes, if he hits those big notes, could be something very special. I think Cyprus will be in the final and possibly somewhere between 10th and 15th in the end. As for Denmark, this guy has such a big online following. He's from the Faroe Islands, so Faroe Islands represent, whoop whoop. But his online following alone, who knows, could play a part. I don't know, maybe a very small part. I do wonder about his live vocals. I really do, because there are some high notes in this song, and I'm not sure he's hitting them terribly well. Apparently the staging is going to be completely different in Liverpool, fair enough. This is one of my most played Eurovision songs of the year. It's got a touch of the 1975 about it. I really do quite like this track. Even if it is a bit cringy at times. Certainly the music video. Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Denmark's on the maybe pile for me. They need to make the final because they haven't for a few years now. Estonia going through. Maybe not terribly comfortably. I don't have faith in the public to go big for a ballad like this. This is top quality stuff. Alika's a great singer. The piano that sort of plays itself as well, that we saw at Aestilal. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Top 3 in the semi-final, certainly very possible. Might even win this semi-final if people really get on board with it. Certainly if the juries were here, they would go big for Bridges. As such though, the public, they'll probably have this in 7th or 8th place. I don't know. As for Greece, oh man. It's so tough this semi-final because there's so little that's really leaping out from the field. Greece is a maybe. He's got a very decent voice for somebody who's only 16. I can't believe he's 16. He looks about 30. But yeah, he's got a good voice. Music video, that doesn't really matter. Sort of sitting on a sofa for 3 minutes from what I remember. Wrote this himself. That's impressive. I don't know. Staging will be key here. As for Iceland, going through, I've seen some people say, oh, I don't know who's going to vote for Iceland. Well, neither do I here, because Iceland don't really have a lot of voting pals. Norway, Sweden and Finland are in the other semi, but they'll get points from Denmark at the very least. This is good. There's no way Iceland are not qualifying this year. This is top quality stuff in my opinion. I really like her voice, the grit to her voice as well, especially as we move into the final chorus. The energy, she's dashing about the stage. Smoke Machine, was there not? Can't quite remember. Yeah, great talent. And I really like this Icelandic song. It is high in my top 37. It will be high when I sort it. I'm starting to ramble now, bear with me. Romania. This Romanian song is not it. Really was surprised Theodore Andre won the Romanian selection in the first place. The performance was a right mess. It was so messy. Didn't like the fact that he had the message on his body rather. That could have been done a different way. Scantily clad women just for the hell of it. His vocals maybe weren't brilliant at times. I sound really harsh here. Obviously at Eurovision it's going to be a lot tighter. It's going to be a lot stronger. And I will almost certainly like the song more when Eurovision comes around. But honestly, don't see this song doing very well. It is out. As for Albania, maybe. Albania has a habit of sneaking through. This song is not bad. Not terribly sure about the revamp. But it builds up nicely. It's got quite a bit of power to it. Do, yeah, do. Yeah. I really like the chorus. It's good stuff. And it's not often that I'm really on board with an Albanian track, but this one I can tolerate. I really can. It's in the maybe pile. Australia going through really does stand out here. I mean, the last 40 seconds or so really packs quite a punch. Vocals aren't bad. It's quite metal sounding. Certainly there's a part in the middle where it comes across that way. It's one of my favourites of the year. It's my winner of this semi-final, I can tell you that right now. Australia almost certainly going through. Austria going through. It's quite a funny track, I guess, talking about Edgar Allan Poe. But if you look at the lyrics as a whole and what the song is trying to get across, that's quite impressive. Vocals are good. I think there's going to be good energy between the two of them on stage. Good harmonies, all of that good stuff. I like this Austrian song. I like it more than I thought I was going to, given the subject matter and how unusual the subject matter is. But Austria going through might win this semi-final. Georgia, need to listen to it again. The lyrics are all over the place. All over the place. Vocally fine. She looks good in the music video. Sounds good. She's won Junior Eurovision. She won The Voice Georgia. She was on Georgian Idol. Now she's doing Eurovision. She's just ticking them off as she goes along. I'm not absolutely convinced this is going through. Honestly, I'm really not. Some of you might be thinking, for heaven's sake, what are you talking about, man? But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. If this was in semi-final 1, it would be in big trouble. I'm going to put them down as a qualifier, though, for now. It's been quite a few years, and this is a lot more conventional. It's a lot more straightforward. In the past, Circus Mircus, and who else have we had for Georgia over the years? Can't even remember. I mentioned it in my last video, but this feels a lot more plain, which is not a bad thing. It feels more competitive than what Georgia have had in the past few years. So yeah, I'm leaning towards yes. Then we have Lithuania going through. The UK will definitely give this song at least 10 points because of the diaspora. It is an absolute given. And other countries will dish out a few points here and there as well. Lithuania is going through for me. Maybe not convincingly, but it's going through. I think there were better choices in the Lithuanian national final, but Monica's a good singer. She's been at Eurovision before. The song's not bad. It's got quite a catchy chorus going through. Poland, wow, okay. Polish people aren't a big fan of this one. I don't know. The song was released months in advance of the Polish selection. It's had millions of views. It had millions of views before the Polish national selection lineup was even announced. And she's a bit of an influencer type person, I guess, based on what I've seen on her Instagram page. She's that sort of person. Haven't really listened to any of her other music. Beautiful woman. The national final performance wasn't great. Vocally, I'm not a professional musician, but I could tell that her vocals were not on the money. It felt very awkward. It felt very dull, to be honest. It shouldn't have been dull. This is a summery song. Liven it up a bit. I think there might be a slight revamp here. I did read something about that. Her vocals have got to improve. But Poland has a bit of a diaspora vote, and it could work in their favour. The UK will, without fail, give this at least 10 points. It'll be Poland and Lithuania, the UK's public top 2. I am calling it now. It is almost guaranteed, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, as a whole, the song isn't really that great at all. I don't think it's doing anything particularly imaginative melodically or lyrically. We'll see. San Marino are out. It's not a bad song. It's not on Spotify yet, this entry. And we're waiting for the studio Eurovision cut. Peaked Jack's Like an Animal. He's a good lead singer. And I'm interested to see how they're going to stage this. But where are the points going to come from? Not from Italy, because they can't vote here. So you're looking at possibly single digits for this song. And then you've got Slovenia going through, like I said, with Norway and Czechia in semi-final 1. Because this song's been out for quite a while now, maybe people are starting to go off it ever so slightly. I don't know. A few people, not everybody, of course. I like it. I really do. It feels very British, very throwback, quite nostalgic in terms of its sound. That's not a bad thing at all. They have performed this live. That was a pretty good performance too. They look very confident, very slick, working the camera well. Yeah, it's going through, and it's been a while since we had Slovenia in the final. Could well close semi-final 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, I apologise for that enormous ramble, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 qualifiers, ladies and gentlemen. Looking very likely for me at this moment in time. Armenia, Cyprus, Estonia, Iceland, Australia, Austria, Georgia, Lithuania, and Slovenia all making the cut. Which means there's one place up for grabs, because Romania and San Marino are out. On the fence, Belgium, Denmark, Greece, Albania, and Poland. Who do I put through? Belgium. World got me going crazy. I carry on. Because that, yeah, it does get stuck in my head. I'm not going to lie. Does that really count for much? Probably not. He's a good singer. Gustav is a good singer. Denmark. Got a big fan base. Yeah. Could work in his favour. And the song's not bad. Not bad. Greece. I think Greece are out, you know. Stuff it. Greece are out. The song, I'm thinking of it now, couldn't tell you how the verses go whatsoever. And I've heard it at least 3 times within the past 2 weeks since it was released. Can't remember how the verses go. Can't remember much about the song at all. And if I think that, voters might think that in May. Albania have a habit of sneaking through. Do you? Yeah. And Poland, out. Poland are out. Got to be ruthless here. I think I'm going to put Belgium down as the qualifier. Yes, there it is. Belgium through. So, just to recap, let's go through both of the semis again. From semi-final 1, Norway, Serbia, Czechia, Finland, Israel, Moldova, Sweden, Portugal, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. And from semi-final 2, Armenia, Cyprus, Estonia, Iceland, Australia, Austria, Georgia, Lithuania, Slovenia, and Belgium, which means Denmark, Greece, Albania, Poland, Romania, and San Marino miss out, theoretically, under my early prediction. Winning semi-final 2, I'm going to say Austria, and I'm going to say second will probably be Slovenia, and third will probably be Australia, and then 10th, just going through, I'm going to say Belgium, and then just missing out, I'm going to say Denmark in 11th, I'm going to say Albania 12th, Poland 13th, Greece 14th, heavens above, Romania 15th, and San Marino 16th. And then last overall in both semi-finals, probably San Marino, let's be honest. So there you go, you can't really see a thing, but that's my workings out for today. Let me know your thoughts on those early predictions. Don't take them too seriously. Everybody else is making predictions, and I've seen quite a few. But that's mine, and I might do this video again next month because we might have had a few more live performances and pre-parties and things by then, so people's opinions will change. I haven't even factored in the betting odds. Should I do that next time? Probably. Anyway, enough now because my voice is actually starting to hurt. Let me know your thoughts, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, share the video, whatever you want to do. and roll on this year's contest. My next video will either be a Q&A announcement or my top 37 as of pretty much right now, or a semi-finals running orders predictions. Until then, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'm so glad I missed the end of that football game because it was crap. Take care. Bye for now.